What's up, everyone? That was so. Anywho, hello friends to another weekly vlog video. As you can see, I'm in a different space now because I'm home for the holidays, and my room is the attic. We have a finished attic, but it's like my mom's office space slash my room, because you know when you go to college and you're gone for a few years and you don't know if you're coming back. Anywho, so this is my room. It's a little messy because, like I said, it's like the office slash bedroom space, so we have like stuff from all our moves since we move like every 2 to 3 years. But anywho, yes, I'm in Florida until January. My mom and I drove from Harrisonburg, Virginia last Thursday to Pensacola, Florida. We did it all in one day, 16 hours. It was long, it was rough, but I'm happy to be home for the next like 2-ish months, a little less than 2 months. I'm just like not looking forward to the drive back because it's going to be another 16 hours and I'm probably going to have to do it alone, so that's going to suck. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anywho, yes, happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope everyone had a good holiday. It was nice to be home. This was the first time I got to spend Thanksgiving with my parents and my sisters since my senior year of high school. Every year in college, because my parents were and my sisters were living in Hawaii, I've spent it either with like family friends or with Paul's family, which has been super fun. I'm so grateful for that. But it was really nice to be with my family this year, and my grandma was in town, so that's nice. She's living with us, and she'll be here for Christmas, which is also really fun because we don't get to see our grandparents that often, so it's nice that our grandma moved in and our grandpa will be here in a few weeks, so that's fun. But this vlog, I decided that in honor of me and Paul's 4-year anniversary on Wednesday, December 2nd, I would talk a little bit about our love story or whatnot, how we ended up together, because I did not think that we would end up together. So yeah, let's get into that. So Paul and I are high school sweethearts. We started dating our senior year, but we met each other sophomore year of high school. It was definitely not love at first sight. We were not crushing on each other when we first met. Yeah, I hope he knows that. So we definitely probably, best word, we were not fond of each other. That sounds so bad. We weren't fond of each other when we first met, because Paul was like the smartest kid in our class. We went to a very, very small school. It was 6th through 12th grade, and there was maybe 300 students, if that, so it was really small. Our like graduating class, our senior year, I think was like 28 people. But anyways, Paul was the smartest kid in our class, and I just moved there, and I was a bit of an overachiever, and I was known as one of the smartest kids in my old school, so I was like, I'm new here, like, I'm about to show up, and I had just moved there like 2 days before school had started, and so the first day of school, I didn't know that we had summer assignments, but it was a school full of military kids, and like the teachers were super nice and understanding, so our teacher was like, oh, like, don't worry about it, like, just get it in when you can. And yeah, I got it in the very next day. I had to I forgot what we even had to read. I think it was like Julius Caesar or something like that, or The Prince. I don't know. But it was like a whole report or whatever. But I was like, I'm going to get it done. And so that rubbed Paul the wrong way, because he's like, what the heck? Like, who's this new girl coming in, showing off? Like, I'm the smartest one. So from then on, it was just like a bit of competition. And yeah, so sophomore year, we weren't friends really. Like, we knew each other, like I said, our class was really small, so it was really easy to know everyone and to know each other. Yeah, and then I had a really good friend, and she moved at the end of sophomore year, so like the summer after sophomore year she moved, and so going into junior year I was like, dang it, like, I just lost my best friend. Like, I mean, and I had other friends, but I was like really sad. And then it ended up being that I think Paul and I had like every single class together, and so we just like saw a lot of each other. And then that year, I became manager of the football team, and Paul was on the football team, and so I constantly saw him there. And yeah, then we became friends, because we just got to talking, and I was like, honestly, like, actually, you're really not that bad. Like, okay. So we just like talked here and there, the first half of junior year, and then the second half, we started to talk a little bit more. Meanwhile, like, I had crushes on other guys too, but like not anything serious. And then when I was in high school, every summer I would spend in Los Angeles with my grandparents, and so junior year came and went, and then I left California. I usually would leave like within like days of the school year ending, and I wouldn't come back until like a day or two before school started. And so I left, and I had an internship that summer. Actually, I had a medical internship. So I left, and Paul and I snapped every single day, and then I was like, like, maybe, like, actually, like, he's kind of nice. But no, like, sophomore Paul, like, I wouldn't date him, no. And so then I came back, and then senior year started, and we were still really good friends. And again, I was manager of the team, and it was his last season of football, so we talked a lot through that. We originally started talking, I guess, like, junior year, like when we first started talking, it was all on Kick, and I actually downloaded, I have it like downloaded on one of my old iPods, and I was looking at some of our conversations from back in the day. We were so awkward. Anywho, yeah, so senior year came, and I liked this other guy at the beginning of senior year, and we were kind of talking, and then Paul and I, we were on the Model United Nations Club or whatever at our school, and we had a, I don't know, competition, whatever they're called. I really don't remember. I was not that invested in it. Anyways, we had a thing at William and Mary University College. I don't honestly know the official title of it. So it was like a 3-day trip, and that's like where we would compete and debate and whatnot. And so we hung out like the whole time, those 3 days. And then on the bus ride back home, I was like, oh, like, I do like him actually. But like I said, I was talking to the other guy, and it was like a 3-hour bus ride home. And we were just like dumb high schoolers, so I forgot what game we were playing, probably like 20 questions or whatever. And someone was like, oh, like, who do you think the prettiest girl at our school is? And Paul, I was like, oh, he's gonna say me, you know, because I was like feeling something. But no, he did not say me. He said some other girl, which now he says was like completely a joke. He did not find her attractive whatsoever, but he thought it was funny, so I was like, what the heck. But so we came back from that trip. That was like in early November of our senior year, and I was still talking to the other guy, and then finally the other guy was like, honestly, Sam, like, I like you and you're really nice, but I don't think you like me as much as you like Paul. And I was like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, you're crazy. And he's like, no, like, I think like you guys like each other a lot. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like, I've never talked to him about it. So anyways, that guy that I was talking to was the plug and ended up talking to Paul or whatever. And yeah, we ended up, I don't, honestly, Paul and I used to hang out like after school, because I literally lived like maybe 200 yards behind our school because it was military base. So like I would just walk home. And so I know, I remember it was December 2nd, that's when we started dating, but I think I played basketball in high school. I think I had a basketball game that day. Yeah, it was a Friday. I think I had a basketball game that day, but it wasn't until like 5 p.m. So I had time to like go home and eat and like change and stuff before I had to be back. And so Paul like walked home with me, and we just kind of like roamed my neighborhood and just like walked around and we're talking and stuff. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, just like random stuff. Anyways, he kissed me, and then I was like, he's so sweet. And then he didn't spill his heart out. It really was not that deep. Anyways, yeah, we just started dating on that day, and yeah, we've been together since then, and that was senior year. And so, like I said, I was really invested in him. At that point, I had a fat crush on him. So when it was time to apply for colleges, actually I had already applied to colleges, and I was gonna go back home to California for college. That was my plan. So I applied to a bunch of schools in California, but at the time, my dad knew that he was gonna get orders to move this summer after I graduated. And so my dad was like, oh, like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get sent to California, but just to play it safe, like, you should apply to a school on the East Coast. just in case like we end up on the East Coast and you want to be near home. So I was like, okay. And I didn't really know of any colleges on the East Coast because, like I said, I had never really looked into it. And so Paul's older brother, who's a year older than us, was going to JMU, and so I like looked up their website and I was like, yeah, this school looks all right, like I'll just apply here. So I applied, turned in my application January 15th, the very last day that I could, and that was that. And then springtime came. I mean, like, Paul and I, we went to prom together, we hung out like every single weekend, and we were together all the time at school. So like, yeah, that was senior year. But then once like college letters started coming in and started getting accepted into schools, I had set in my mind that I was gonna go to school in California because I had been accepted to a few. And then Paul received his nomination for the Naval Academy. Well, he got it to VMI first, and then he said he was gonna go to school there, and I was like, oh, like, perfect, like, VMI. And then I was like, well, like, maybe if I get into JMU, I could go there, but I was like, yeah, I really don't want to go to JMU. And then he got his nomination to the Naval Academy, so he decided that he was gonna go there. Like, that was his dream school, and he was pretty, like, dead set on it. And so, it was like the last week of college decisions, and I'm a procrastinator, so I had not decided yet, and I was kind of waiting on what orders my dad would get, and so his orders came in like a few days before college decision day, and so yeah, they ended up getting orders to Hawaii. And so my dad's like, yeah, we're going to Hawaii, and I was like, well, even if I go to school in California, like, I'd be really far away from you guys. So yeah, and so I contacted the University of Hawaii, whatever. They were gonna let me turn in an application like super duper duper late, because I told them my situation and I had sent them like my resume and like my grades and all that. Anyways, they had pretty much said they were gonna accept me on the spot. But as much as I wanted to go to the University of Hawaii because it's in Hawaii, like, he doesn't want to go, then my parents dropped it on me that I was gonna have to live at home because they were not going to pay for room and board if we lived 20 minutes from the campus. So that was automatically a no. So then I either had to choose between California schools or JMU. And at this point, Paul and I had been dating like 5 months, and I was madly in love with him already. And so, yeah, I decided to go to JMU because I was like, if I go to school in California, I'll see him maybe once a year, if that, and we'll probably end up breaking up, and I wanted to be near him. So I decided to go to JMU. We had never really discussed about like staying together through college, or like after high school going into college. It like kind of just happened, and yeah, we've been long distance the past 3 years, and it definitely has not been easy, but it's been worth it. I struggled a lot my first year at JMU. I was really homesick, and I was not happy with the school whatsoever because it was not a school that I had ever even imagined going to, and I didn't really go there because of the school. I went for other reasons, so I really struggled my first year there, and I even thought about transferring home after fall semester. Like, I was super depressed, and I had a lot of anxiety, and I just wasn't happy with my decision, and I even thought about applying to the Naval Academy, not because of Paul, just because I had really liked the school, and I had said even before me and him were dating or like really knew each other that I wanted to go to school there, just like growing up in a military family as well. And I just like didn't feel like I really had a purpose at JMU. I was just like, this is like boring, like college kids are crazy and I'm not about it. But I ended up staying. My parents made me stick it out, and I'm glad they did because now I love JMU. I love it so much. And yeah, like, it has sucked only being able to see my parents twice a year. Like, I would usually go home for winter break and for summer, not for like spring break or Thanksgiving or like long weekends. Just not, it wasn't possible to fly to Hawaii. When it comes to the actual long distance part, we've been really fortunate that we live within driving distance of each other. Our colleges are within driving distance, so it's only like a 2.5-2 hour 40-minute drive from my school to his and his to mine. But yeah, so our first year we got to see each other. So first semester of college, we maybe saw each other like 2 or 3 times. It wasn't that many times. just because we were both getting acclimated to school, and he was really busy and I was really busy. And back in that day, I was a nursing major and I was trying to ace all my prerequisites to get into nursing school. That's a story for another time, because obviously I'm not going to be a nurse. But yeah, and then spring semester we got to see each other a bit more. We got to see each other like once a month, and that was only made possible with the help of Paul's parents, so I'm really appreciative of them. But yeah, so they used to drive to JMU and pick up me and Paul's brother on Fridays, and then we would drive back to their house. That was like a 2-hour drive, and then I would spend the night at their house, and then Saturdays we would wake up and go pick up Paul from Navy and bring him home. That was like an hour and 15-minute drive. And then he would come home Saturdays, and we would usually do this on the weekends that he got overnight, so he was able to like sleep at home. And so then he would sleep over, and then Sundays we would hang out for a little bit, and then one of his parents would drive me and his brother back to school, and his other parent would drive him back to school. And so we had to do that freshman year and sophomore year of college. Sophomore year, it was like once a month occurrence. And yeah, so I'm really appreciative of that and them, because if it wasn't for those visits, who knows if we would be together. And then junior year, I moved off campus and I got a car, and so I would go visit a lot more, and Paul got more overnight weekends, and so I would drive to his house, and then one of his parents would drive to school to pick him up and bring him home. And so that's how we got to see each other a lot last year. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. We saw each other a lot last year, actually. We'd see each other every other weekend, if that, sometimes more. Sometimes it was like 2 weekends in a row. It just depended on what our schedules looked like. And yeah, and then this past year, obviously it's a bit different because of COVID. Also, it's senior year, so we're both busy again in different ways. And so I saw him it might have been like late August. I had to go renew my military ID in Maryland. And so I went to a base near his school, and then I drove over and I took him Chipotle, and we were very socially distanced. I sat in my car, he sat on the sidewalk, and we talked. It was maybe like a 40-minute interaction, but it was nice because I hadn't seen him since June, since I was gone all summer again in Los Angeles. So that was fun. And then I saw him for my birthday weekend, September 26th. So I went to Maryland and I saw him then, and then I saw him right before I left for Florida, and the last weekend he had at Liberty. So like the first weekend of November, I went back to Maryland and I saw him and we hung out, and it was a lot of fun. We don't know when we'll see each other again. Yeah, we don't know. I'm hoping that he's able to come visit during Christmas, around Christmas, so he can like hang out with my family. But yeah, and then we FaceTime every single day, whether it be like a 2-hour FaceTime. That rarely happens, honestly, rarely. It's usually around like 30 minutes, or even if it's like a 1-minute FaceTime where he like calls me right before he goes to bed just to say goodnight. Just like at some point we talk, and we text throughout the day. We text like a pretty good amount. His first year was like, I was lucky if I got a good morning text and a good night text. He was just so busy, and that's when we really struggled. I also noticed that we struggled a lot when we would go home for the holidays, because then I'd go home to Hawaii and he'd go home to Virginia, and there was a 6-hour time difference. And we also, like, I hadn't seen my family, and whenever I see them it's like at least 5 months, and so I was like spending time with them and he's spending time with his family, and so it's really crazy. Very little communication during those breaks. I feel like that's like when we butt heads the most, but we got through those. And then actually one time Paul did surprise me, and he came to Hawaii one summer, so that was like the best thing ever, because no one's done anything that big for me, so that was really awesome. Yeah, so it definitely has not been easy, but we're fortunate that we have a lot going for us and we're able to see each other and we talk a lot. Yeah, but eventually I'll make more videos like more specific to us, and if y'all want to ask me questions about how we've gotten through some stuff, because like I said, definitely has not been super easy the past 4 years, but it's all been worth it. And it's just hard being long distance, and with him going to a military school like that. But it's been a really good 4 years, very loving 4 years, so I'm excited to see where we are 4 years from now. Because like I said, going into this relationship, first of all, I didn't like him like that when we first met, and going into this relationship, I mean, we just started dating in high school, so I kind of went into it with no expectations. I was just like, it'll be what it is, and yeah, but we've come this far, and yeah, he's definitely my best friend, and love him very much. But yes, so our anniversary is this Wednesday, December 2nd. It's a big day. Unfortunately, again, like every year, we don't get to spend it together. But I just keep thinking that someday we will. So that'll be perfect when we get to spend it together. But for now, we will FaceTime. And we usually celebrate like a few weeks after or before. Like last year, I think last year we celebrated it like a week or two early before we went home for the holidays, and we went to like a Capitals hockey game, which I had never been to a hockey game. I had never even watched hockey, but it was a lot of fun, and we went to dinner and we walked around DC, and it was so much fun. But COVID this year, but I've definitely found that we are experienced people, so maybe we'll do something when he comes next month if he can, because we prefer that over gifts. But yes, speaking of gifts though, Christmas is coming and his birthday is coming, so if y'all can drop some ideas of gifts to get a guy, because I'm not the best at thinking of things. I love giving blankets and socks, but I'm pretty sure that he does not want a blanket or socks. So yeah, drop ideas. But yes, I just want to share a little bit of our story since I've been with him for a long time. And he's met a few of my friends at JMU, not a whole bunch though, because like I said, just going to a military school, always being on lockdown, having a certain radius that he can go past and stuff. He hasn't been able to visit that often. And when he does come visit, like we usually just do stuff on our own. But eventually he will get to meet a lot of my friends. I know a lot of his friends, so that's good. I love his roommates, love his company mates. Yeah, but that was the vlog for this week, and we will have more to share next week. I will have more to share. But if he does come visit, next month in December, maybe he could be a special guest. We could do a little couples Q&A. We did that a lot actually over quarantine on my Instagram story, and I found that a lot of people got some good laughs out of it. We definitely love to roast each other. If you don't roast each other in a relationship, then it's not it. You gotta be playful. We're not sensitive, and we like to pick on each other, but I think that's another reason why we get along so well. But yes, thank y'all for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I'll have a better one next week. Bye!